Zeuxis. In 5th century BC, Zeuxis was one of ancient Greece's most celebrated painters. The guy was known for his crazy realistic art. One day, he painted a picture of an old woman trying to pose as the goddess Aphrodite. And when he finally stepped back to admire his own work, it was so ridiculous and hilarious to him that he broke into unstoppable laughter. He laughed and laughed until his body just gave out. He died on the spot. Chrysippus. Chrysippus was a famous Greek Stoic philosopher who lived until circa 206 BC. Now this guy was a logic genius, not exactly the class clown. But one day he saw a donkey munching on his figures. Classic random moment, right? He turned to a servant and joked, "Give that donkey some wine to wash those figs down." And apparently, that was peak comedy to Chrysippus. He laughed so hard at his own joke that he suffered a laughing fit so intense, it killed him. Even philosophers can't handle their own punchlines sometimes. Pietro Artino. In 1556, Pietro Artino was an Italian poet and satirist from Florence. He was known for his sharp wit and bold satire. One day, he was chilling at home just chatting with his sister. She told him a joke. No one knows what the joke was, but it was so funny that Artino started roaring with laughter. He couldn't breathe, couldn't stop, and eventually suffocated while still mid-giggle. Imagine a man who made his living with words dying because of them. Thomas Urquhart. In 1660 in Scotland, Thomas Urquhart was a Scottish aristocrat, writer, and mathematician. This guy had been through a lot, including fighting in wars and even imprisonment. But nothing struck him down, until joy did. When he heard that Charles II had been restored to the English throne, he was so overwhelmed with happiness and patriotic pride that he burst into a wild fit of laughter and dropped dead. That's what you call death by monarchy. Alex Mitchell. Alex Mitchell was a 50-year-old bricklayer from King's Lynn, England. The date was March 24, 1975. He was watching a British slapstick comedy show called The Goodies, and the episode was called Kung Fu Capers. The sketch featured a ridiculous martial arts parody involving a Scottish character wielding a black pudding as a weapon. Yes, you read that right. Alex laughed non-stop for about 25 minutes before he collapsed and died. Later, doctors speculated he had long QT syndrome, a rare genetic heart condition that can trigger sudden cardiac death during emotional stress. His widow even wrote to the Goodies to thank them for giving her husband such a joyful send-off. Ole Bentsen. In 1989 in Denmark, Ole Bentsen was a 56-year-old audiologist. One day he went cinema to watch A Fish Called Wanda, a clever British-American comedy with John Cleese and Kevin Kline. During a particularly hilarious scene, Ole started laughing so hard that his heart rate skyrocketed to between 250 to 500 beats per minute and he had a massive heart attack in the cinema. He literally laughed himself to death over a movie. That is probably not the review that filmmakers were expecting. Damnoon Seenam. One of the eeriest cases happened in 2003, in Thailand. A 52-year-old ice cream seller named Mr. Damnoon Seenam was asleep at home, giggling in his sleep. His wife was beside him and thought he was just having a funny dream. But the laughter got louder and louder. He laughed in his sleep for 2 full minutes. Then he just stopped breathing. She tried to wake him, but he was gone. Doctors said it was heart failure, but no one could explain why he was laughing in his dreams to begin with. Creepy and oddly peaceful at the same time. Damodar Bai. In India, in the town of Sampal, Uttar Pradesh, a man named Damodar Bai was attending a family gathering in 2013. Someone cracked a joke, and it sent him into a full-blown laughing fit. He kept laughing and laughing, until suddenly, he collapsed. Doctors said he likely suffered a stroke, triggered by the sudden spike in blood pressure from all the laughter. So yeah, the joke really killed that night.